The big breaking news in the football world this evening comes from Stamford Bridge and Chelsea, who have now finally confirmed that Thomas Tuchel will become their new manager at the Bridge. Hey guys, Fletch here, bringing you another Fletch Talks video, and this video is coming out of the breaking news story that Thomas Tuchel, the former PSG, Borussia Dortmund and Mainz manager, is now officially the new manager of Chelsea Football Club. The German manager arrives as the successor of club legend Frank Lampard, who of course was sacked from his position on Monday following a bit of a nosedive in form within the Premier League over the past couple of months or so, and not even a 3-1 FA Cup victory over Luton could save him from getting the sack. So the premise is, Lampard departs, Tuchel arrives. He is instantly back in management following his dismissal from French side PSG last month, where he was sacked by the club himself after a lot of issues had become apparent between himself and the PSG sporting director Leonardo, with the topic of PSG's transfer activity being called into question a lot by him. He claimed that PSG basically let a lot of things slide in terms of transfer. They let a lot of players go, like the likes of Adrien Rabiot, Edinson Cavani and Thiago Silva. If you remember correctly, they let them go on free transfers, and PSG didn't receive any kind of financial boost from them transfers, which left the German a bit frustrated that PSG's transfer activity in terms of selling players and letting their contracts run down to expire was getting a bit frustrating for him. It was a similar situation previously at Dortmund, for those of you that can remember, where the 47-year-old was constantly arguing with various staff members and members of the club hierarchy over similar sort of things and how the club was functioning at the time. There's even a story where he clashed with the Dortmund head scout at the time, which of course people will know to be Sven Mislintat, because of an argument that the pair had where philosophical differences were voiced between both of them. And as a result, he actually did go on to ban Mislintat, the now former Arsenal head coach of course, from the training ground at the time. So he's clearly not scared of confrontation, but it is said to be the main reason as to why Tuchel stepped down as manager of the German club back in 2017. Looking ahead to his time now at Chelsea though, and things may go a little bit differently for him than it has at his previous other couple of clubs. He won't have as much money to spend as in PSG, but that doesn't mean he's going to be poor either. He will still have plenty of it, of course. And most importantly, he may have more control at the Blues than he did at PSG, for example. And the constant thread of wherever Tuchel has been about him having control and having that power to do his own thing and to set the club in his own vision. He's a bit of a control freak in that respect. We saw that with Frank Lampard, the club owner Roman Abramovich is willing to financially back a manager regardless of their kind of ideology. But it's about results on the pitch that matter most to the Russian. It's just a question of how the relationship between the two of them, and of course how the relationships between Tuchel and the other members of the Chelsea hierarchy will pan out over time. Tactically, he's one of the more modern managers in the game right now, playing a high pressing game. He enjoys that a lot, similar to his fellow countryman Jurgen Klopp, who of course formerly managed both Mainz and Dortmund. And in fact, if you remember, Tuchel was actually Klopp's successor on both of those occasions. So he's always been kind of one step behind Klopp, so to speak. His tactics are very flexible and he is willing to adapt his tactics accordingly. And to add to that, he's said to be very intense in his pre-match preparations, always approaching games in a very intricate and detailed manner, leaving no stone unturned, so to speak. So he's very intricate there. He's been known to get the best out of some of his more younger players, shall we say, that he's managed in previous occasions with his previous clubs. And For right now, Chelsea is a team that is bursting with young and raw talent and just wanting to be moulded into more of a final product. And Tuchel could certainly be the guy to take them players up to a next level. And it's worth pointing out, of course, that the guy is German. The guy is German, which will be a very good German connection and could also help in rediscovering or getting some sort of consistent form and a tune out of the likes of Timo Werner and Kai Havertz in particular. The German pair, of course, were brought in at the beginning of this season for hefty transfer fees, and it's safe to say that so far both have really failed to hit the ground running at Chelsea. So this could be another reason as to why Tuchel's appointment has come to fruition here and why it might be important going forward. For Dortmund, Tuchel had previously guided them to a German Cup triumph, whilst at PSG he managed to win 2 French league titles over there, as well as a few French Cups as well. And let's not forget, he was a man that managed to get PSG to their first Champions League final. Okay, they did lose to Bayern Munich on the night, but they still managed to get to the Champions League final and be runners-up of that competition in the last campaign. So it's not exactly like he's arriving with nothing to show on his resume, but there's always going to be that debate, isn't there, about how much weight trophies with the best and most financially backed club in France has. And of course, that's already sparked some debate between the likes of Gary Neville and Harry Redknapp. So we'll have to see how that pans out and whether it will hold weight overall. Now, in my opinion, I honestly believe that I think with everything about him, everything how he carries himself, to his approach to the game, to what he believes in, to his in-depth tactical analysis, this is exactly what Chelsea need right now. This Chelsea side is in need of guidance and structure, and Tuchel is seemingly a very strong candidate to install and implement that into this club. Chelsea have the players, there's no doubt about that. They have the players to build something great here. There's no doubt in my mind about that. And of course, they've got the financial backing. They've got the financial backing of Abramovich to go along with that. But it's whether or not that the players will be on board with Tuchel's vision of the club or not. He seems to have this mentality of you're either with me or against me. And that's going to go through the club from the bottom to the top. So it will be interesting to see how that works and how the various relationships he's going to have to go over with in the future pan out. You know, how he develops that with the players, with the backroom staff, and with the club hierarchy from top to bottom. How them relationships develop over time will be interesting to watch. On paper, it does seem a very good appointment, all things considered. I still don't agree with the sacking of Lampard and how they treated him, but of course, we have to move on. That's in the past. This is the here and now, and I'm intrigued to see how Thomas Tuchel, as Chelsea manager, is going to fare in the future. And I'm not even a Blues fan, of course. But of course, these are just the thoughts and opinions of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of the appointment of Thomas Tuchel as Chelsea manager? Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? How do you think he'll fare? What do you make of the players? Who will come? Who will go? What do you think he'll implement on this Chelsea squad? I'd love to know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions down below in the comment section. I'm sure they'll make for interesting reading. Otherwise, hit that like button on the right if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things will be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see and speak with you all again soon in another video.